CBC News has learned more about the security firm operating here outside the house. Have a look at that vehicle. Jungle Lion Security presents itself as Canada's #1 provider of security services. But no one answered our repeated calls, and the firm doesn't appear to have a website. We obtained Ontario Transportation Ministry records showing the license plate on the company's vehicle is registered to Aubrey D. Graham, better known as Drake. And the only person listed in the security firm's public profile is the man seen next to Drake in this video, his reported head of security, known to fans as Chubbs.
Drake literally hiring security guards to fake a shooting is next level wicked. Toronto police have launched an investigation into the shooting that happened outside of Drake's house and have uncovered that it was Drake all along. Not only that, the mole has come forward via Twitter with extensive evidence proving that Drake did not hire him, and he is telling Drake he has 24 hours to respond with a lawyer or else. Everybody hates Drake. Y'all, not the police evidence implicating Drake for orchestrating the shooting at his own house to get out of this beef that he had going on with Kendrick Lamar. Drake has been having to go at it with half the industry that hates him. But this beef with Kendrick Lamar has to be one of the nastiest things that we've seen in rap for a hot minute. However, things got out of hand last week when we found out that Drake's house got shot up by some unknown assailants, and fans immediately pointed fingers at Kendrick for ordering this hit. But from new evidence that just got leaked by Toronto's own police, it appears that Drake might have allegedly been behind his own shooting. Allegedly, Drake might have been the brain behind the shooting as a way to bow out of the beef between Kendrick. You know, the same beef that the streets have been accusing him of big losing. Yeah, Drake done took a L and he never bounced back. Yeah, there's a whole lot of insanity going on around here, and y'all better get in on this because we're about to do some expose bruise tea. Because these details that came from the Toronto police are crazy.
Police confirming a shooting occurred outside the home of Canadian rapper Drake in Toronto. This happening overnight in the wake of an escalating beef between Drake and hip-hop star Kendrick Lamar. This is the scene outside of Drake's home in the city's Bridle Path neighborhood, courtesy of our CTV News chopper. Police say a man sustained serious injuries after a shooting outside that home and was taken to hospital. Police also say a suspect fled in a vehicle, but no description has been released. So far, there's no word on whether Drake was at home at the time of the shooting, but we understand from police that he has offered to fully cooperate with them.
Y'all, this beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar is fast becoming one of the wildest and craziest things that we've ever seen, and it is earning its place among the ranks of the craziest, wildest rap beefs of all time. But as messy as the drama is, nobody could have ever predicted the crazy plot twist that went down over the weekend, because there are new allegations that Drake allegedly put out a hit on himself to make it look like either Kendrick or The Weeknd put a hit out on him. Trying to get sympathy? Y'all, what is going on in the world? Drake's got himself tangled up in some serious drama with half the industry, and it's spiraling out of control by the minute. At first it was just him, Metro Boomin, Kendrick, and Future exchanging shots, but then Kanye West decided to jump in, Rick Ross decided to jump in, and allegedly The Weeknd has been on this beef. And just when we thought that things couldn't get any wilder, Kendrick Lamar went all the way in, dropping diss track after diss track that shook the whole hip-hop scene. But the showdown between Drake and The Weeknd takes the cake for sheer craziness. I mean, Kendrick went hard on Drake, but no doubt the first word on the streets is that Weeknd went a step further and allegedly put a hit out on Drake. Yeah, I mean, I get it. The Weeknd seems very low-key and blinded by the light and definitely reserved. But you know what they say about those quiet ones. They're the ones you gotta watch out for. Now, you might be wondering why people think that The Weeknd would go after Drake like that. Well, apparently it stems from Drake supposedly ordering a hit on someone from The Weeknd's camp a few weeks ago. But as for Drake, why would he do such a thing?
Well, it all goes back to their beef that runs deep. It's not just a personal feud between them, it spilled over to their labels too. OVO and EXO are at each other's throats. So if you're not up to speed on this gossip, let me spill that tea about Drake and The Weeknd's history. Back in the day when The Weeknd was just a rookie in the music game, Drake was one of the first big names to take notice of his talent. I mean, it was obvious to everybody that The Weeknd was a star in the making. According to reports, Drake's buddy and collaborator 40 was the first one who crossed paths with The Weeknd, and then he brought him onto Drake's inner circle. Now Drake was eager to bring Weeknd into the fold at his label OVO Records, although they didn't sign a deal right away. But despite not signing an official contract with The Weeknd to join OVO, they kept working together, with Drake playing a mentor role in The Weeknd's career. And The Weeknd even had a hand in shaping Drake's 2011 album Take Care, and he was involved in the writing process for at least 4 tracks. But here's where it gets weird. Drake didn't exactly shout from the rooftops about The Weeknd's contributions to the album. For the longest time, it was like he was keeping it on the low. It wasn't until a few years back that the truth actually came out, and Drake was basically backed into a corner and had to give The Weeknd props that he was due. And he gave him some writing credits on the album Take Care. Yeah, y'all, The Weeknd was responsible for loving the crew. She's loving the crew, loving the crew. And take a shot for me. Oh, and I can tell that you've been practicing. Girl, you look good, want you back that. Remember? Yeah, honestly, those are some of my favorite songs on that album. So The Weeknd definitely had a big hand in making that thing a success. But anyways, Drake and The Weeknd kept on grinding. But by this point, Drake was seriously considering officially bringing The Weeknd into the OVO fold because he saw the gold mine of a talent he had in his hands. But here's the twist. The Weeknd wasn't just talented, he was savvy and smart as F too. He was paying attention to how things worked at OVO and noticed a pattern. None of the Drake signees were hitting it big time. To be fair to Drake, it's not like he was deliberately holding artists back, it seems. Just seemed to not really work out for any of his artists. In fact, it's a common occurrence when an artist with a super active career tries to balance their own career while nurturing others. The balancing one career is enough, but trying to stay relevant as an artist while trying to build the career of another artist is hard as F, and very few people have managed to do it successfully. Take Beyonce for example. She's got her own label that has brought on a board a bunch of artists who are super talented and should have made it big as well. But apart from the Bailey sisters, none of them have really struck it gold. And even with Chloe and Halle, their success hasn't exactly been chart-topping. Chloe's solo debut album didn't exactly set the world on fire, selling just 10,000 copies in the first week and barely scraping onto the Billboard Hot 200 at number 119. And that's with Queen Bee's name backing them. And even though Halle found success as an actress, especially last year, her music career isn't as huge as you would expect. She dropped 2 solo songs last year, and both of those songs made some waves on social media and went viral, but neither one of them broke into the main Billboard Hot 100 chart solo. To be fair, she's got some spots on other Billboard artists, but not the big league ones. And that's kind of odd considering her large social media following and general popularity, but hey, she's under Beyonce's wing and B's got her own superstar career to navigate, leaving limited attention bandwidth for her proteges. But seeing all this play out at Drake's OVO label, The Weeknd had a crystal clear vision of his future if he signed to OVO. So he made a smart move and inked a deal with Republic Records back in 2012, starting his own EXO Records. And guess what? That decision paid off because he was able to chart his own course and really blossom in his career. Honestly, if he remained at OVO, he probably would not have been the big superstar that he is today. But Drake wasn't exactly happy about losing his premium writer. He was bitter with The Weeknd making the jump to Republic Records, and he felt like The Weeknd owed him for all the free promo he gave him back in the day. But shortly after the news broke that The Weeknd was ditching OVO for Republic, Drake started throwing massive shade at him, calling him out for being disloyal and ungrateful. However, The Weeknd wasn't ungrateful to Drake. He always gave Drake his flowers and acknowledged the role that Drake played in helping him grow his career. But Drake wasn't feeling none of that, even when The Weeknd gave him a shout out at a concert.
This man, Drizzy, motherfucking Drake. There be no motherfucking Weeknd. There be no EXO. So please, make some fucking noise for my mentor, my brother, and my friend, Drizzy, motherfucking
Drake then made a salty and bitter tweet that said, "You won't get away with just a thank you. You owe me a favor." It looks like Drake was not about to let The Weeknd walk away without a fight, especially when he had visions of dollar signs dancing in his head. So he decided to play the petty card. When The Weeknd and Bella Hadid called it quits, Drake swooped in faster than you can say rebound, sparking rumors of a fling between him and Bella. It was pretty obvious Drake was using Bella as a pawn to try to get under The Weeknd's skin. He even dropped a track called Finesse, where he laid it all out. "I want my baby to have your eyes. I'm going against my own advice. Should I do New York? I can't decide. Fashion Week is more your thing than mine. I can't even lie. I'd rather stay inside." But The Weeknd was not about to let that slide at all, and it turns out that he could be just as petty. He fired back with some serious heat in his track Lost in the Fire, where he threw some shade at Drake with lines like, "And I just want a baby with the right one. I just want a baby with the right, 'cause I could never be the one to hide one. I could never be the one to hide." Y'all, that was a direct hit aimed at Drake for hiding his sun for the world and his world from the sun. Yeah, he kept Adonis a secret until Pusha T blew the lid off the secret during their beef. And the drama just kept simmering on between them, even though they tried to play nice in public. But if you've been paying attention to the grapevine and keeping your ears to the streets like me, then you'd know that Drake and The Weeknd have been throwing shade at each other for what feels like ages. Then boom, it all blew up a couple of weeks back when The Weeknd hopped on this weird sounding track called "We Still Don't Trust You," which was real 90s sounding, but it had A$AP Rocky, Metro Boomin, and The Future on it. And get this, every single one of them has some type of beef with Drake. According to Metro, Drake even tried to kill the song, but he was unable to do so. Metro tweeted, "I'm lame, but the first week after like that, you tried to block it at radio. I've been sitting on this email for a month now, but was just sparing you. Are you in like that record?" He also hinted that he had some heavy tea on Drake, saying, "Now go make another song telling more lies, cause we both know you can't tell everyone why I don't F with you. That wouldn't be a good look either for you, so I'ma spare us both with that." On the song All To Myself, The Weeknd hinted that Drake allegedly tried to give him a very bad contract when he wanted him to sign to OVO back in the day. He said, "Look at how we're moving, baby. They could never diss my brother's baby. When they got leaks in their operation, I thank God I never signed my life away. And we never do that big talk. They shooters making TikToks." But right after that song hit the airwaves, things took a seriously dark turn. There was a mysterious shooting at the home of The Weeknd's manager, Cash. Now, anyone who knows The Weeknd knows Cash. He's been riding with him since way back in the day, and thankfully Cash himself wasn't harmed, but a security guard got hit and ended up in the hospital. But it was a chilling reminder that sometimes the drama spills out of the music and into the real world. The police released a statement that said, "The victim, male, black, 37 years old, was inside a guard shack when he heard several gunshots and discovered he had been struck. The suspects, 3 male, no further details, fled from the location. LAFD responded and transported the victim to a local hospital in an unknown condition. Location, 17500 block of Jaden Lane, April 29, 2024 at 02:25 hours. It was referred to as a home invasion, but the streets believe that it wasn't an ordinary invasion, but an ordered hit.
We're following breaking news. A security guard has been shot in Encino, and we now know the home has ties to the artist The Weeknd. Scott Reif live in Air 7 HD with details. Scott.
Yeah, Rachel, this is the home in question. Now, you see the emblem there on the basketball court. That's a record label of The Weeknd. And then you see the guard shack. You see a chair that's toppled over. And then you see what appear to be evidence markers. Those could be shell casings. We don't know for sure. We can't tell with our camera. But we can tell they're investigating in the back of the home. LAPD officers are here. About 2:45 this morning, there was a shooting. The security guard was shot. Transported. Condition is unknown. So it's unclear right now if the security security guard was shot during some sort of attempted robbery or burglary into the home, or if that security guard had been targeted here. We'll open up a little bit out of this shot and show you. It's reportedly a $12 million home that is believed to be owned by a music industry executive with ties to the Weeknd.
Well, before we could process what was going on, Drake's beef with Kendrick blew up, and it got messy again. Drake and Kendrick dropped diss tracks back to back and forth to each other, and it was a no-holds-barred fight because they both fought dirty. For example, Kendrick claimed that Drake was allegedly a PDF file and that he got inappropriate with young girls. In his song Meet the Grams, he said, "Sandra, sit down, what I'm about to say is heavy. Now listen, your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think men just like him should die. Him and Weinstein should get effed up in the cell for the rest of their life. He hates black women, hypersexualized them, and kinks of an info fetish. Grew facial hair because he understood being a beard just fit him better. He got sex offenders on Hovio that he keep on a monthly allowance. A child should never be compromised, and he keeping his child around him. And we gotta raise our daughters knowing there's predators like him lurking." He also claimed that Drake was a coward who was hiding a secret from the world, pretending like his daughter didn't exist. Yeah, like he did with the Donnas, hiding the world from the kid and the kid from the world. Well, Drake, on the other hand, had Kendrick having to explain things, saying that he had DV rumors, when Drake claimed that he was allegedly putting hands on his fiance and baby mama, Whitney.
Oh wait, this is true.
Yeah.
When they said you were in Vegas and you beat some guy bloody and you did something to some female.
Yeah.
And they said they had evidence and all of this, and then I never heard anything about it again.
Yeah, because it's foolishness. That's the most ignorant stuff I've ever heard made up.
I was like, Kendrick did that? I doubt it.
And you know, that person, whoever made that up, owes an apology. Not to me, but to women that actually go out there and get abused. You dig what I'm saying? That's a real issue, and to be putting a person name that you know that stands for someone way more better, that's been raised way more better than that. That's not cool. There's people out there that really get abused, and there's women out there that get abused and don't say nothing, and you know, live their lives through that. So.
Because I was like, I'm sure if that happened, there'd have been a police report. You would have been arrested.
That's foolishness. That's ignorant. That's all the way ignorant to 100%.
When you hear things in the news, certain things I believe about artists. That story, I didn't even think that was remotely close to
Story about you, and I was like, there's no.
Drake also said, "You a dog and you know it, you just play sweet. Your baby mama captions always screaming, save me. You did a dirty all your life, you trying to make peace. I heard one of them little kids might be day free. Don't make it day freeze, cause if your GM is your BM secret BD, then it's all making plenty effing sense to me. Ayy, let that show they breathe." So yeah, it was a hot mess. And Drake was fighting for his life against all the people in the industry. I told y'all, everybody hates Drake. Because the next thing we knew, there were reports that Drake's house in Toronto had been shot up and a security guard had been hit in what was referred to as a drive-by shooting.
Police confirming a shooting occurred outside the home of Canadian rapper Drake in Toronto. This happening overnight in the wake of an escalating beef between Drake and hip-hop star Kendrick Lamar. This is the scene outside of Drake's home in the city's Bridle Path neighborhood. Courtesy of our CTV News chopper, police say a man sustained serious injuries after a shooting outside that home and was taken to hospital. Police also say a suspect fled in a vehicle, but no description has been released. So far, there's no word on whether Drake was at home at the time of the shooting, but we understand from police that he has offered to fully cooperate with them.
At first, fans were pointing fingers at Kendrick because he did make some threats when he was going back and forth at Drake, while he was exposing some messed up stuff about each other. Plus, Kendrick used a picture of Drake's house as a cover of his diss track, Not Like Us, showing his whole address. So when Drake's house got shot up, people claimed that it was because Kendrick had posted Drake's address. But as people pointed out, Drake's address had been public for a minute before he even started dissing Kendrick. But then things took a wild turn when Kanye West jumped into the chat, claiming that Drake had planned it out all along with his baby daddy Lucien Grange.
Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucien.
So all of his streams in the number ones is controlled by someone named Lucien.
Well, Lucien worked for people who control the banks in Africa, who keep, you know,
oh my God.
Think about
we download.
According to the reports, Drake had allegedly planned it out with Lucien to take attention away from how Lucien was implicated in Diddy's federal case. But the moment Kendrick started throwing allegations of Drake being a creep, Lucien allegedly made Drake shut down the beef because it was drawing back attention to Lucien's case. Kanye even revealed this in his song Like That remix, where he said, "It's a rap for ninjas. Where's Lucien? Serve your master, ninja. You caught a little bag for your masters, didn't you? Lifetime deal. I feel bad for ninjas. Y'all so out of sight, out of mind. I can't even think of a Drake line." But there's more to this story, y'all, because according to new reports, the Toronto police have allegedly stumbled on some information about how this drive-by was not a hit, but a diversion by Drake. Allegedly, Drake planned to use this shooting as a way to bow out of the beef with Kendrick without looking wet. I mean, who would expect him to keep dropping diss tracks when his house got shot up? According to a source, he allegedly didn't plan for the security guard to get hit, but things spiraled out of control. But fortunately, the security guard pulled through. Now, word on the streets is that the cops are still investigating and are deliberating about whether or not to bring charges against Drake for this. Yeah, it's given Jussie Smollett, and it's messy, and it kind of explains this concerning post that Drake made on Instagram.
Maybe this is criticism. Maybe I do. But when you die, will people notice? When I go, there will be a lot of memories of me by a lot of people. Many will hate me, even so. A person needs to live with vigor. Otherwise, was born.
It had people wondering about his mental health. I mean, this feud is very entertaining, but nobody really wants anyone to get hurt or hurt themselves. However, fans still call BS on this Drake shooting, and they've been leaving comments saying, "I call cap on this Drake property shooting. When you admit so matter-of-factly that you created fake stories as bait, which I think he lied about, how can I trust anything else you say? Kendrick doing numbers right now and suddenly this? When was the last time there was a shooting in an upscale Toronto neighborhood? Drake setting up fake scenarios. And I really think Drake set the fake shooting just to come out and say the rap beef isn't worth it to avoid having to respond. And does anyone else think that this was all set up to distract us from the Diddy story? We're still waiting on the Epstein's list. But what do y'all think about this? Do y'all think Drake really out here faking shootings? Is he down that bad? Also, what do you feel about this The Weeknd situation? I didn't know The Weeknd was gangsta like that. Drop your thoughts in comments below and then check out this next video.